Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Kamen Gaim DX Musou Saber and Melon Lockseed. So of course I've had the box for this one because it's just been right next to me ever since I've gotten it. And also just because, no other space. Anyways, this is the main sidearm of Kamen Gaim and Kamen Zangetsu, as you can barely see up there. Oh, I mean, technically you are actually able to see it just because of how crushed this box is and such. But, like, it's in the standard Gaim affair of boxes. I've always liked the Gaim boxes and such. Again, it's pretty basic overall. Just shows off the Melon Lockseed, Kamen Rider Zangetsu, melon arms, and then it actually shows off the other inclusion, the Musou Saber holder and such. Again, the bottom is also really cool. It actually showcases both riders. The left side shows off Zangetsu melon arms, while the right side, which is the side that this was already opened by because I got this pre-owned, Gaim orange arms, and the entire contents and such, and the battery's gonna die apparently. Basically, this tells you everything you can do with it and such, just the basic necessities, and the next two reviews and compatibility with these two objects and such. Whoop-de-doo. So here we have the contents of the set, obviously the Musou Saber, the holder, and the Melon Lockseed. So we'll actually take a look at the Musou Saber first, just because we can't really talk about this yet. Yeah, the Musou Saber, again, I really like the, consistency between the Musou Saber and the Sengoku driver and such, with, this being all the same navy blue plastic and such, and, bringing back the yellow that was present a little bit on the Sengoku driver in this section, and this trigger section here, and this section here too. Other than that, it still has all the silver and such, basically like the silver outlines and such. We have the barrel, which is just plastic, same with the blade too. I think the blue here is actually painted, interestingly, but mine's kind of bent. Obviously, I got mine heavily used, so it's kind of scratched up. And on, like, size-wise, I think it's pretty good. This is a really nice size overall. Obviously, it's not full length, but, like, my hand fits really well in this thing. And obviously, here we have the Gaim decals on the Musou Saber. There sadly is no Zangetsu version, because I think the best way to get that is just through a sticker. And honestly, one of the most intriguing things, in my opinion, about this thing is that this entire section is painted. The trigger section is painted. Like, wow. Other than that, obviously this is where you insert the locks, or you slide in the Lockseed. It still has the same mechanism, just so then in case you need to rip it out. Again, you pull this entire section back. It's really nice. It's a nice springy section. It's just, I just like it a lot, and because I always like it when there's like inner details through, like when you pull it back, or like just when there's actually details or such, or like when it's actually filled out. I don't know, I just like stuff like that. And yeah, so I guess this was originally silver, but then they painted it and such. But obviously, the speaker here, this is actually where you actually press down to remove the Lockseed, which I think is honestly a weird place, but alright. This is where you're going to put in your batteries, because it requires 2 AAAs and such. But yeah, overall, the design is pretty good. I like how it's a basic sword, but like, they took some liberties with it and such. So, here is the holder. Obviously, this one's different from the Lockseed holder, because this one actually, you need to slide through the belt. And you know, it's very simple overall, but again, I still like it that it still carries the same design philosophy and such. And then this is where you're going to slot the Musou Saber from this section, like so. And this is actually not one of my favorite aspects to do because actually not that well. It's not that well secured. It only works because this thing is heavy. So of course, like all the pressure is going down. So like you shouldn't you're not gonna worry about this falling. But like I can tell just by like doing this, it's just gonna fall, which is honestly really upsetting. Then again, it could just be because I got it used and such. But again, let me put back the Sengoku driver. No, I actually should not. Actually, let's bring in the Sengoku driver. I meant, and then we are going to use this strap here to just simply slide it through like so. Clip this back in like so. And then we are going to clip this in like so. And then we're going to bring back the Lockseed holder. And then slot Musou Saber in. And voila, we got the full look of Gaim's Sengoku driver. To which this is honestly great. This is really nice overall, just to see in full. Like, I like how this is invoking, like, what Gaim's full Sengoku driver is. He has the Lockseed holder on the right. He has the Musou Saber that's trying to fall out. He has the Musou Saber on the left. It's just like, and then like obviously we got the belt here. It's just like, this is cool. You typically don't see this a lot. Because again, it was Gates that actually brought back the weapon holsters, because the Saber doesn't count, because that was only for the Hisatsu Doka. But the cool thing too is that technically, by removing the Lockseed holder, this is still another form of the Sengoku driver. Because Zangetsu, this is Zangetsu's appearance of the Sengoku driver. It's just his first look. It's just really cool overall of just the customization of all of this and such. But speaking of Zangetsu, so here we have the Melon Lockseed, as we're actually showcasing this early for specific reasons. Obviously, traditional Lockseed, to the point it actually does have its own specified button, so I don't know what happened with Orange Banana, but you know, like Melon is really cool overall. I really like the, you know, design they went with. I like the orange, not orange, the gold outline LS04. I really like how it's like very similar to orange, but the fact that like it's all rounded and such. And then opened up, here we have the Melon slice right here. Then we have the arms weapon, the Melon Defender. And then obviously to unlock it, again, we just press back. On off switch like so. There is its activation sound, to which obviously the LEDs are a really nice green. So obviously we have our standard Lockseed affair. Obviously it takes a while to lose. we're keeping all of these in real time because we really need to showcase how long it takes for us to lose. Activation. So again, Musou Saber on off switch back here. So we have a yellow LED throughout this entire section. The speakers are obviously back here. And obviously, in default, it's in sword mode, so just simply press the trigger. Just a single LED and just alternates between two slashing sounds. And then to switch into gun mode, pull it back. So now all 4 bars show up, and I want to apologize if any of the LEDs get washed out because of my lights. Basically, if, you know, we have this little bar here, which actually means we have 4 points of ammunition. So there's 1, and as you can see, it fades out. So basically, the more you shoot, the more they fade out. And then when you press it, it acts empty. And when it does that, it resets. So you just pull it back, blast through, and then reload. And then just resets. So, like, you know, by itself, it's pretty simple for the most part. Obviously, that's why you bring in the Lockseed. So, to be more accurate, you have to open up the Lockseed. So, technically, this is, like, obviously, because in the show, they just unlock it from the single driver and pull it out of there. So, then this is basically the form they're supposed to be. So, then basically, at this point, you just simply slot the Lockseed into this slot like so. Obviously, it clicks in, and then just press the lock down. So then it would do a countdown, and then the standby until you press the trigger. So there it does the melon charge, and then after doing that, if we press the trigger again, we get the melon power after basically every attack. As it basically defaults itself back into, like, without a Lockseed, but now with the addition of the Lockseed. Which I think is pretty cool. Obviously, we can unlock it, press this down, and pull like so. I'm not too big on how this entire system works, but oh well. This time, we will actually show the gun mode, to which again, just simply unlock that like so, slot it in, and then lock it down. So it does the countdown, but as you can hear, it's a different standby. And then, again, from this point here, we're back to the normal mode, so basically every shot we take, it goes down. So if we go down, like, you know, we can blast through all these. I still find that one to be the most funny. Like, just pine power, like, any lock power, and then it's just empty. It immediately resets. And that'll actually be what we will showcase for the day, because if we will show off the other 2 in the next 2 reviews. But that'll actually have to do for now with the Musou Saber, because we can't actually properly cover this Lockseed until the next review. But anyways, so as a base set overall, the Musou Saber is pretty good. Like, I know, like, I've said that. I know it's weird saying that, like, obviously people are gonna use it like, oh, you're just blinded because it's from the Gaim nostalgia. Well, I mean, it's just like the thing is that, I don't know, I think you get a lot out of this, basically. Like, it's nice to actually be able to do something. Like, I know, like, you don't get a finisher on its own, obviously. But I do like the variety that you get from, like, using Lockseeds within this toy and such. And it's just like overall, like it's actually cool that they actually do provide a handle or a holder and such. And just overall, like I just think it's really cool how like I really like the design of it overall. I like how it feels. Just the playability is pretty simplistic. Two slashing sounds and then like just one singular blasting sound. But I mean that's quadrupled or that's doubled because of the fact like it's singular, but you get four of it. So you get like an ammunition of four, which I think is really cool and such. And plus, like, I feel like the Musou Saber was handled well within the series. Like it was still pretty well, it was still relatively used and such. Obviously, like I said before, my only nitpick about it is I don't like the way that you have to take out the lock seeds. I kind of would have liked that there was a more conventional way than just pressing this entire section down. And like obviously this is more nitpicky for most people, but just giving people the ability to actually switch out the faceplate from Gaim to Zangetsu, because obviously they both have their own Musou sabers, or just finding a way to provide a blank one for writers that actually do use the Musou saber that aren't Gaim or Zangetsu, because I think they're just stuck with Gaims. Obviously, this is the only way to gain the DX Melon Lockseed, but honestly, I don't mind this being the case just because it makes sense. Zangetsu is a user of the Musou Saber, so it works pretty well and such. It's just kind of weird that, like, yeah, he's not marked and such. But you might be wondering why the heck are we skipping over the compatibility of the Melon Lockseed with the Sengoku driver? That's because you have to watch the next review. Now to do this review, this wasn't good enough.